All right, so we're live on YouTube. Hey, everyone. If you're live on YouTube, we're just finishing up our last few things before the show. Nick is actually here. By the way, your webcam looks great, Nick.
Yeah.
Your webcam looks better than our webcam.
Yeah, I was kind of worried because this is literally the cheapest one on Amazon. It was $16,
Webcams
and I
are
couldn't
good these days.
find one lower. Although actually, I think I could. I don't think I can do it from here. I could lower the quality. This is like 480p.
That's fine. I don't see any reason not to.
480.
It's move your hands. Do that. Yeah, it's fine. Then you're transparent.
Well, it's not an issue of that. It's an issue of I just want to cover myself in blurry grime.
You could do that. But yeah, I was checking to see.
I don't have any HD makeup, so I can't do 720p.
You don't need it. It wouldn't help.
See, you can say that to a guy. You say that to a woman and you drop from the show.
You can't say anything to a woman anymore. It's just how they made it. That's how
that is not true.
It is
true.
You
just have to treat us respectfully.
What does that mean?
Nick, don't encourage him. All right. We got private chat. You sent me. I can hear you all bitches. Okay.
You can ignore that link. That was just. Do you want me to send you links to the news stories that I was looking at?
That's helpful, but not essential.
Okay. Because I could just do a link dump on you right
haven't
now.
brought any news stories again because I wake up at 8 o'clock in the morning and I'm going the whole time. So yeah, the video stream definitely adds a challenge.
Yeah,
it's a lot of work.
Yeah.
All right.
Are we on Facebook too, or just
Facebook too? We're on Facebook
Okay.
and YouTube. So anything else we need to do before we start this? Okay. On that note, let's start the show on time.
That's why nobody's here, because we're on time.
Yeah,
I'm on budget.
Right?
Oh, we got 2 people. At least on the YouTube. Mics are hot. Hello and welcome to GameHounds. GameHounds episode 518. We are recording this on Wednesday, October 16th, 2019. Edie Sellers here and present. Also, Nick.
Hi.
And Goalie.
And Nick sucks. Good to be here.
Oh, yeah, Nick sucks. He's a perennial favorite of ours. He's always here with us.
A perennial, isn't that a flower?
Yes, it is.
Is it?
It
Yeah.
means the same thing.
Okay.
I would think of Nick more of a pansy than a perennial, but that's just me.
Oh, my gosh.
Yeah,
all right, moving right
Is that
along.
a flower?
Moving.
It's a special flower.
Oh.
It's more of a snowflake.
Guys,
I was waiting for that.
Moving right along.
Okay.
So yesterday was kind of interesting for me. I don't know about Nick and Goalie. By the way, we are not only streaming this live on Spreaker, as we always do. Want to remind everybody that's listening on Spreaker even after the fact that we are also on Facebook and YouTube video, Facebook Live and YouTube streaming the video of us doing the show, because that's what we're doing these days. And you can look us up on YouTube as under GameHounds Vids, VIDS. I believe we're also on the Facebook page. I have to look that up. So, yesterday was very interesting. Last 48 hours. Very interesting.
Do tell.
Monday night, I'm sitting looking at the YouTube stream and doing stuff, and all of a sudden the house starts to shake. Yay, earthquake.
What time was this?
Like 10:30, 10:45ish at night.
in at night.
My house was shaking
Okay,
about
because
that
I
time
did
Monday night
feel
too.
something at night, but I thought it was later.
Nah, I have to look it up, but yeah,
Okay,
it
I
was.
did
mean,
feel
it
this thing
was.
shaking.
Yeah, there was definitely. It was a good shaker. It was a 4.7, I want to think, centered about 40 miles east of us in Pleasant Hill. And that was interesting and cool, and you know, it's an earthquake. Happens.
That's messed up though.
What? Nothing.
Just feeling everything shake. That's messed up.
All of a sudden the house just went boom, 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 boom. That was it.
Yeah. See, I can't even go to hotel rooms when they have those electric beds where you put the quarter in. That just freaks me out. It's like I like my stability.
Oh well,
So.
it's a way of life here. It's not that big a deal. In fact, I think there is a misconception of what 99% of earthquakes are like. The remote ones that get big, they're a little scary, but you know, just ground shaking. That's it. Then yesterday afternoon ish, all of a sudden the warning sirens start going off. You know, the warning sirens I have you listen to every Wednesday? Yeah, those warning sirens go off, and it's like, oh, it's Tuesday. We had a about 5-7 miles away from me. We have a lot of refineries in the area, and a big, they call it an energy farm, but really it's a bunch of tanks full of ethanol and jet fuel. It catches fire and two of the tanks explode.
What? Wow.
Nick, how did you miss this? You're
didn't hear
in the Bay Area. It closed down Highway 80, one of the most
880.
No,
But
80.
Oh, I've never used 80. But even
Still,
then,
it fucked traffic in the entire region. It is
when did
one
this
of the
happen?
one of the busiest freeways in the nation at commute time. Commutes went from
In
a
the
couple
morning
of
or
in
evening?
the evening. In the evening it was closed. The 880 was closed from about 4 o'clock in the afternoon until like 11 o'clock at night.
80.
80. Highway I-80 between.
Yeah, I didn't see anything about this, and I'm usually when I'm at work, I'm typing up, but I'm also like browsing the internet. I go to Google News and I search stuff, and I didn't see anything about this.
Okay, let me look it up so you can see it. New Star Fire. And we're looking up videos.
Are we really doing a traffic update? Is that what we're doing?
It's not just a traffic update. It was a really big thing. I'm pulling it up right now.
It was a big thing that I didn't notice.
When we talk about the I-80 over here, it usually means I-80 that whole pizza,
Stand by. I need to get to. Also, it's good because I'm learning how to do this again. Yay me. Chrome tab.
So now we got weather updates, we got animal updates. Now we have traffic updates.
Okay, you can go
here
on.
the
I'm just looking at I-80 crash news. So
what is the I-80 looking like right now?
See it? Is it there?
It says it was 3 days ago.
Wow!
No, it's today.
Wow! Those aren't little tanks. I thought you were like
No.
you were talking.
No.
I thought it was like, oh, these little propane tanks. These
no.
are the
no,
big,
these are huge tanks.
These are the big Corellian tanks.
Yeah.
Wow.
So wait, this is today?
Yesterday. This was yesterday and last night. And that was and they didn't just like burn around the tanks. 2 of them exploded. Yeah, I'll pull up, see if I can pull up some other ones.
East Bay.
That's nuts.
Yeah, it fucked traffic around here.
I mean, if it fucked traffic, it didn't.
Jesus.
It didn't.
Can you rewind
its
that
way
a little
down
bit?
here.
I fucking hate this, guys.
pay the $10 and get rid of the ads.
It's all natural. Just use ad block. It's fine. It works.
Yeah, no, it was an all-day thing, and of course, I'm part of the. Yeah, you could see it literally exploded.
Oof.
There's some really good video I was hoping to find of the. I mean, it was going well into the evening. It was ethanol, and there were 2 tanks full of ethanol, and then 1 tank of jet fuel.
Oof.
So yeah, that's what I did yesterday. Lucky me, yay. I know what I'm doing wrong. Why am I having such a hard time? There we go. So yeah, and as part of the emergency response, community emergency response in the area, I pretty much sat down in front of my computer and tweeted everything to keep people advised, because of course we weren't part of the evacuation or the shelter in place or anything like that, but everybody in our neighborhood knew about it. It was this plume of black smoke across the Bay Area. You could see all the way to San Jose. So people were freaking out. Of course, I'm like, we're fine. We're fine. We're
Could
fine.
you really see the plume from San Jose? Because I don't think I saw it.
You're such a twit. New fire. New star.
And now, with the traffic, it's Edie Sellers' Eye in the Sky. Edie, what's it look like on the I-80 right now?
I-80's moving fine now, but last night it was fucked. It was fucked. And it wasn't just I-80. The 80 was closed. The 80 actually looked great. There was no traffic on the 80. It was everything around. People were literally, it was taking them 6 hours to get home because nobody could move, because literally many hundreds of thousands of cars couldn't travel on I-80. So
Wouldn't it be funny if they actually did traffic like that? What's it look like? We're fucked.
We are fucked. We are fucked in the ass, fucked in half, fucked.
If you're on the highway right now, yeah.
You're just stick a pin in you, dude. You are completely done. I'm trying to see if I could find any pictures of the smoke plume. I can't. So yeah, it's not that big a deal. But yeah, no, there was giant plume of toxic smoke. I tell him we're breaking up. Kevin, just if you're listening on this show or listening on Spreaker, yeah, Kevin just waltzed through the.
No, I thought that was a ghost.
Yeah, but it could have been a prowler.
It's a prowler.
You know.
Yeah, sort of.
I'm glad he had pants on, but what's up with that ball gag he's walking around the house in? I don't know what the deal is with that. I mean,
so anyway, that was my day. Oh, and then while we're dealing with this, okay, we had the earthquake. Then the next morning / early afternoon, we have this massive fire, alarms going off, toxic smoke. All the news is just completely turned off and looking at this fire, emergency warning, blah, blah, blah. Then, in the middle of it, in the middle of all of this, another earthquake. So we had 2 earthquakes, one right before and one during this massive refinery fire. So the last 48 hours have been real tough.
Huh.
I was on Twitter and somebody said, if I see one fucking locust.
Okay, see, now that I finally found I-80 on a map, I know why none of this affected me, because it is way, way north from anything that I deal with. It is on the opposite side of the bay from where I basically am. I'm near the south. This is all in the north.
Yeah, but I can guarantee you that 880 was fucked as well, because
I did notice it was slower going home.
That's why. Barbara Zelkman in the chat room, in the YouTube chat room, says we have I-80 out here too. Yes, in fact, I-80 is the largest, longest
She says
interstate.
and I-80.
It is the same I-80.
Wait, is it?
Yes, it is. I-80
Oh.
starts in San Francisco, and it goes all the way to Maryland.
This is your road news.
In fact, if you see,
The more you know
Yeah.
about the
it's the same I-80. It's just the
United States
whole other
highway
end.
system. What an educational
Heartbreak Ridge
podcast.
says, you broke California. Yes, Northern California was pretty broken yesterday. And actually, the last 48 hours. So who knows what could happen in the next 48 hours? During the show, something terrible could happen. I kind of wish that we had a little earthquake while we were talking, just so Goalie could learn that it's not that big a deal.
Yeah, it is a big deal for me.
It's for you, but you might actually see a real earthquake in real time, the way things are happening these days. So, games, gentlemen. Actually, what else is happening with you? I mean, obviously not as interesting as refinery fires and earthquakes, but what do you?
Yeah, no, but compared to that, it's been boring over here. I'm in busy season now, working 7 days a week again. Although I was supposed to do a football game on Friday night, and we had that hurricane come through here, and it was so bad that they weren't going to film the game, so I had Friday night off. They still played it, I'm pretty sure, but they
you had a hurricane.
It was last Friday night. Some big storm come through here. It was like the remnants of a hurricane out here or something.
Oh, okay.
And so we get like the tail end of it, and it just was like constant rain and wind. And it's like, yeah, we're not setting up the cameras. So that's going to happen this Friday night too. I got another football game, and it's going to rain. So it just seems like every time there's a football game this season, it rains.
Yep. What did I want to say? Oh, in the YouTube chat room, we have obviously Barbara Zelikman. We have AC Wraith, our link bitch, who is providing all the links for shows, both in the Spreaker and the YouTube chat and the Facebook chat. He is such a monster. He really is.
Actually, in the chat, AC Wraith has actual, genuine U.S. highway information.
Who is
yes.
that? Oh, we have one of the old Snake Pit crew in here too.
Yeah, we
Thomas.
have. Sorry. Who do we have?
Thomas Shikamaru.
Shikamaru is in there. Yep, Black Shikamaru. I think
he holds the record for most times signed on and off on PlayStation 4. I will sit there and play a game, and he will sign on 57 times while I'm playing. You know when you sit there and you get the notifications? You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's just like, so-and-so signed on. I will sit there, and if I play a half hour of Borderlands, he'll sign on and off 57 times. Seriously. And I've gotten rid of him several times because, like, dude, I just can't take the notifications anymore because you can't turn off one, you turn them all off, and I want to see who comes on from time to time. Dude,
how's that even possible?
I don't know. It's like I go from game to game sometimes, but I don't shut off the PlayStation and log back in. So
there must be something either wrong with his PlayStation or with his internet.
I think he's just trolling. Tell the truth. Serious. It's like, dude.
And we have Lambo Calrissian in YouTube. Hey, it's been a while, dude.
Love Lambo.
Who else we got?
I think. Thank you,
Heartbreak
Barbara,
Ridge, of course.
for loving my mug.
Yep.
Not your face, you mug.
Yes, thank you for specifically pointing that out too, Barbara. It's good to be clear.
And we have Thomas in the Spreaker chat. So we got a full house right now. So what y'all been playing?
Who are we starting with? You got everything queued up?
Of course I have everything.
Okay, but who are we
queued
starting
up.
with then? We talked about this before the show. We were supposed
We
to
didn't actually decide who would start.
Does it matter?
We think it would make
I feel like we need to get a coin and flip it.
Yeah, but we wanted to make it easy for her so she could have it lined up so we knew who to start. So
Yeah.
she could just hit the button. We're trying to make it easy on the women. You know, hit the button. Just like this. Button. Yeah, that's fine. Just take that finger and put it on the button. Ow! You got me right in the eye. That's not funny.
Let's start with Nick.
Okay. What to start with? I'll start with the small. No, first I'm just wrapping things up. I spent one night staying up way too late playing Control and basically 100%ing it. So I got the platinum trophy and everything
nice.
in that game. I'm actually really looking forward to whenever that DLC comes out because Remedy usually has like good story content in their DLC. Um, yeah, that game is really good. And then regarding like Speed Demons and What the Golf on the Apple Arcade, I basically 100% of those two, wrung every ounce of gameplay I could out of those things. So then I moved on to a new Apple Arcade game, one called Tangle Tower. I had heard people talking about this on other podcasts as, one of the things, one of the recommended games to play. And it's a really cool point and click, I guess point and tap, really, detective game. You are a couple detectives who go to Tangle Tower to investigate a murder. And the way it's laid out is very simple. You basically just go from room to room, tapping on a bunch of items on the screen to get little dialogue bits about them. If it's an important item, you'll collect it as a clue. Maybe it's a gramophone, maybe it's blood, maybe it's a paintbrush. And those are just things around the room that you'll tap on and collect. And then you will tap on a character and you'll talk to them. And that's the general loop of gameplay, is
It
looking
sounds
at a
like
room.
Clue a little
A
bit.
little bit, yeah.
Kind of.
Colonel
And what's
Mustard in the
great
conservatory.
what's
Yeah.
great about the game is that it has a sense of humor similar
Miss
to Clue.
Peacock with the candlestick. I mean, in the bathroom.
There was no bathroom in Clue.
Wow, was there no bathroom in that entire mansion?
There
What
was
the
no bathroom in that
fuck?
mansion. No.
Wow. Um, but yeah, it's got a good sense of humor. The writing and the voice acting are just universally excellent. Like every character is just that, a character. Like they've got a sort of quirky, eccentric personality that's really reminiscent of old LucasArts games like
Oh, nice.
Monkey Island, Sam and Max, Day of the Tentacle. It has that feel of just like an old school, fun, funny, just very clever and very cartoony point and click adventure game.
It looks a little
Uh,
bit like King's Quest. Remember King's Quest?
Kind of, except it's nowhere near as complicated as that. Sorry. You don't have to like collect items and then go use this item with that item to get past a puzzle. Like it's mainly about exploration and conversation. And so there's a lot of weight writing on the writing. So it's good that it's that good. But it's also, it manages to balance out the darkness because someone just got murdered. And a lot of the characters have kind of an innate sadness to them that makes a real good tone where it's fun and it's funny until you kind of get to an "aw" moment. But every now and then, someone will do something that will make them suspicious. And then you'll enter a kind of interrogation mini game, a puzzle, which has you, and you'll see it on the video coming up, try to connect statements with clues, where you'll have a clue and then a statement and then a clue and another statement. And you have to link those together in a line to come to some sort of conclusion. So like this red paint pot is not the same as these red paint pots because someone switched them. And so then that will lead you into the next part of the conversation. And the way that works in practice, it actually really feels like you're thinking through an issue, because a lot of times the statements that you'll have to play around with are not necessarily things that you will naturally think up on your own. And so looking through them actually provide a couple of clues of like, oh, these paint pots, are they the same? Oh, hey, they're not the same. Maybe this is actually a thing. Okay, and then you'll go on from there. And I'm nearing the end of it, I think, because I've almost explored all of the house. But yeah, I'm truly enjoying this game. The animation is really nice. It's just very fluid, very colorful, and a lot of the characters, the way that they don't interact with each other, but they acknowledge each other. And so you have a lot of these outlandish personalities commenting on the outlandish personalities of their neighbors in a way that really makes the whole place feel like a lived-in location and a lived-in mansion. It's Yeah, if you have iOS, if you have Apple Arcade, Tangle Tower is
Do you have to have
one of the
Apple
better
Arcade,
ones.
or can you buy this or play this separately? What is the deal?
You do have to have Apple Arcade.
Okay. And what do you
It
say?
is
That's 10 bucks a month?
$5.
$5. I'm thinking this looks
Yes.
something I might have the wife play
I
actually. 'Cause
am
she
what's
plays
the
a ton of iPad games and she's playing these puzzle games, but I'm thinking something like this she
If she
might kind of
plays a
like.
ton of those, she really might want to think about that. For $5 a month, it's an all you can eat as far as
Yeah,
iOS
Yeah.
games.
I'm gonna talk to her about that tonight because you know she's like always playing these games and it's like, oh, I got as far as I can, now I got to buy stuff. It's like, no, just let's
Yep.
go to the Apple Arcade. And you know some of these games that Nick's talking about, I think women would like a lot of the games that you play, Nick.
Um so it's the 16th right now. I signed up on the 19th last month, and you do get a free month when you first sign up. So I'm coming to the end of my free month, and it has absolutely been worth it. Like, I cannot think of a better deal in gaming at the moment than Apple Arcade.
I know we've talked about this before. How many games do you think they actually have in there?
They've added more since I've had it. Like,
So
I've
give me a round
downloaded
number,
more.
ballpark figure.
At this
20,
point, I
100,
think
500.
they said they wanted 100 by the end of the year. I think they launched with about 70. They've probably added 10 in the month since. And yeah, so even this, like every week, I'll check it to see what's updated. And a lot of them, it's gone to the point where I don't have enough room on my phone for all of the Apple Arcade games that I
Oh,
can
that's
download.
right. You have to download them.
Yes.
Okay, they're not cloud based. You down. Okay.
No. Well, fuck that. I don't want to use up my data caps. There's a news story about that later. Anyways, so moving on to the game that Barbara has been, and Barbara asked if that's for phone. It
Can
is
we
for
can we skip
phone.
that one? Can we skip that
All
one?
I know, I think Tingle Tower is exclusive to Apple Arcade. I don't think it's available anywhere else, like not on Steam at the moment. But I know she has been asking about this game for the past several weeks, and
So
I
why don't we
finally
hold
got to
off till
play it.
next week? Let's tease it for next week, so she'll come back for next week. What do you think? Just go through a little
No,
tease. Talk about the first
because
5 minutes and say she's gonna tune in next week for part 2.
I need to talk about this game because there's a lot going on in this game.
Come on, that'd be such a 70s thing to do. 70s, you know, remember Happy Days? You'd be watching it and you'd be like this. It's like, stay tuned next week. No, I don't want to tune in next week. I want to see it now. It
No,
was
I
such a
don't
long
remember
week.
Happy Days.
It was such a long week waiting to see what happened with the Fonz. It was.
Wait, you used to watch TV weekly?
That was a thing back then.
Whoa.
Of course we did. We only got shows once a week, and we didn't have a
What?
recorder. If you missed
If
the
you missed it-
show, then
Oh,
you
God.
maybe caught it on a rerun if you were lucky. And if you missed it, you missed it.
No, if you missed it, this stuff that yeah, I would say in the last 10 or 15 years, I've actually gone back and watched because I missed it and it was gone forever. There was no replays. There was no rerun network back then. You literally, if you missed it, you missed it. And you had to wait years later. Before,
Wednesday
like,
night,
maybe,
7:00.
Yeah,
You missed the show. You missed.
I mean,
you missed
maybe
Smash.
if-
You missed Smash.
maybe if TV Land come out or something like that was playing old shows. But yeah, there was, you know, it's not like Game of Thrones where they show it on Sunday night, then they show it 100 times during the week. So, you know, and you got the DVRs. You missed it. And that was that. And seriously, there was shows that I caught up on, or I might have missed one that I watched 30 years later. No joke. That I said, you know, I've never seen that episode, or I had to go to bed and I didn't see it, and now I'm finally watching it. Yeah. Very different when we were kids, Nick. Very different.
I mean, I am old enough to remember, like, television.
Yeah.
So,
But I mean, you remember Photomat? Were you part of the Photomat crew?
I have no
Will you drive up to the little
Goalie,
house?
We save these for the ends of the show, not the beginning.
Oh, the Patreons.
Right. Yeah. So
anyways,
Yes.
Kingdom Come Deliverance.
I distracted you. I was hoping you'd forget about it.
Oh, no. It's hard to forget about this game. There's a lot going on in this game.
Okay.
So on the surface, it looks like a more realistic Skyrim. Like, I think that's the easy point of reference for playing the game is think about Skyrim, because it's a first-person open world RPG. But it's really nothing like Skyrim, it actually feels like it has a lot more of its DNA, like old computer RPGs like Baldur's Gate, like the Divinity game that I played earlier, Torment, Tides of Numenera, or Planescape Torment. These kind of D&D based role-playing games where there is combat, but that's not a central part of the game. Conversation is a huge part of the game. So, in Skyrim, you're going to go out into the world and kill shit. Like, that is just a general assumption. In this game, it is possible to go through the whole game without killing anyone. And so once I kind of wrap my mind around that idea, the fact that it's less action RPG like Skyrim and more traditional RPG like these old BioWare games, it started to make a lot more sense. So the story is kind of your
Wait,
general...
let me ask you right there, Nick. So when you said you can't kill people in this game,
Well, you can kill people.
but what I'm saying is you don't have to. I'm watching the combat. So what would you have, like, the option to knock them out or something like that? I mean, because some games,
So what's neat,
you have to confront somebody, and so I mean, I can't imagine you're going to sneak around through the whole game.
You could try that, but also when you're in combat, when you lower an opponent's health to a certain degree, they will surrender. And you can choose to either let them go completely free, let them go but leave their shit with you, or just kill them outright.
Oh, that's how Assassin's Creed was, is that if you wounded somebody to such a point without killing them, you could have them join your crew. So that was a way around killing people too. Okay, I always wonder these games when you don't have to kill people. Sometimes
the very first sword combat I got into, or the first like real one outside of like training with the wooden swords, was a guy where I hit him once and then I'm still mashing on the button because I'm in combat mode, and he puts down his sword and goes, "I surrender," and I just stab him in the chest. So it's like, whoops, well, I'm not getting that achievement, whatever. So the story begins. It is a very, very tropey. It starts the way like an endless number of JRPGs start, where a guy's living an idyllic life in his little town somewhere, and then an invading army comes and destroys everything. He gets sent out into the world, and then it goes on a quest for vengeance. Like, that is the premise of the story. But the way that it tells its story is uncommonly good and nuanced. And I got a very, very heavy Game of Thrones vibe from it in watching the cutscenes in the beginning, because it feels like it really wants to explore like hierarchies of power. So when you begin, you are just this blacksmith's son. And when the lord of your little town comes by for a sword, it's a big deal. You're like, "Oh shit, it's the Lord. Thank you, Lord. Yes, my Lord." All that, bow and bend the knee stuff. Then when the invading army comes, your Lord, like, he retreats to the castle and the town is just overrun. And then later on, you retreat to Town B to warn them of what's coming. And eventually, your Lord and a bunch of refugees on the run from the invading army come. But when they get there, him and the Lord of Town B start talking to each other. And they're like, the Lord of Town B is like, "Hey, I will give you a place to stay. Come here. We're friends. We're neighbors. I'll house you." And the guy's like, "No, don't. I don't know why this guy is after me, but he's after me. And if I stay here with you, it'll just give him cause to attack you. And I don't want to do that. I'm going to keep going to the next town that's larger and can house all my refugees, and that has better defenses to hopefully deter this invading army." And so he does that. And when the invading army comes to the doorstep of Town B, the Lord is like, he says, "Yes, no, the guy you're looking for is not here. I don't want to have anything to do with you. I don't want to get into a fight." And the invading army leaves. And so it's interesting to see the way the conversations play out. It's much more nuanced and much better written than just me summarizing it. But the way it plays out, it really feels like it wants to explore the fact that you are just this fucking nobody thrown out into the world and you have no idea what's going on. You're just a little nobody caught up in events beyond your control. But the truth is that the lords above you are also fucking nobodies caught up in events beyond their control. You might think that they have some measure of power because they are like the governors of your town, but in the grand scheme of things, they're just as powerless and just as confused and just as swept along with the bullshit as you are. And so it does a really good job sort of contrasting these people in different positions of power while also showing how little power they all actually have. So it's really, really good. The the things that kind of get in the way, like the gameplay, it almost feels like an Ookie Bookie Spelookie version of Skyrim, where in every regard where like Skyrim is a game made to be accessible, Kingdom Come is like, fuck you. So there's a lot of systems of self-care. Like you have to take care of yourself. If you go too long without sleep, that will impact your maximum stamina. You have to eat. There's a nourishment meter, but you have to be careful with what you eat
Oh,
because
so
there's
it's Red
also
Dead
a
Redemption 2. It's Red
there's
Dead
a
Redemption 2 all over again. Perfect.
no because
Everything bad about Red Dead.
I don't ever remember getting food poisoning in Red Dead Redemption.
Oh,
So
they've
I
added
ate a
that.
couple chicken legs that were at like 50% freshness and it gave me food poisoning,
Oh
which
God.
lowered my maximum health and stamina by half. Uh,
Oh
and
wow. No joke about that.
no, food poisoning fucks you up. Um, you can recover that by sleeping. Uh, and so like I slept for 8 hours and then I woke up and for breakfast I had these chicken legs that did not sit well. So I thought, oh, you know what? I'm just gonna go back to sleep and sleep off this food poisoning. I couldn't because I had just woken up. It wouldn't let me immediately go back to sleep off this stuff. It said, no, no, you just slept, man. Go out into the world for a couple hours and stay awake. So there's all these mechanics of self-care involved.
So there's no sick days.
No, and all those add different elements to a lot of nitpicky things. And so far in the game, they haven't really overtaken the game. That was my big fear after the first time I had played it, that the self care would kind of consume me, and I would spend more time trying not to die than I would actually progressing through the story. But so far that's not true, and I'm really glad that that's not true because the story is very, very good. It's probably the best thing about the game so far, and like I said, the fact that it reminds me of early Game of Thrones is like as good a compliment as I could give it. Like every conversation with any nobles, like at one point your guy loses the sword that he made for your noble and he wants to go tell the guy like, hey, I'm sorry I lost your sword, we made the sword and it's such a big deal because it's your sword and you're my lord. And the lord is like, motherfucker, I just lost my kingdom and a whole bunch of my people. You think I give a shit about a sword? And it's just nice the way that Game of Thrones sort of took all those old fantasy tropes and then exposed them for bullshit. That's kind of what this game's doing. Was like, the guy thinks the sword is important because it's the last sword my father made, and we have a promise that to give you this sword, and we should keep our promises. And the guy's like, dude, there's so much more important things going on. Fuck off. Um, the combat is really, really interesting. It's difficult to sort of wrap your head around at first because there's a fucking lot going on. Okay, I have not done that before, but you just smothered a dude in this video. This
Did
guy
you?
just got, yes, he just got
I missed
smothered.
it. I was looking
He
at
just
something else.
got smothered in his bed. um, so the way combat works, it actually reminds me of For Honor in that there are was For Honor had this kind of rock paper scissors element to it where if I attack high and you block high, you block. But if I attack low and you block high, then I get you. And that was kind of the general mechanics of combat. Kingdom Come has 5 places that you can attack. So it's got up, left, right, and then diagonals down left and down right. And you lock on to a character. So as I'm strafing around them with the left thumbstick, I'm choosing where to attack with the right thumbstick. And so the general pace of combat is I want to attack from the right and then from the left really quick so that the guy cannot block it in time. But then as I go through more training, I start learning, well, you can actually hold the attack button to wind up on the right and then release on the left. Has kind of a fake out. And then there's all, positioning is important. If I can like go around an enemy, then he won't block it as easy because, so the position of where you are and where the enemy is and where his shield is actually matters in combat. If he's holding the shield on the left, and so I strafe around him to the right and attack, like because his shield is on the opposite side of his body, hitting him will be easier. Like he will have a more difficult time blocking. So these elements that most games just kind of paper over of like, oh, you've got a shield, that means your defense is blah. This game is like, no, your defense is blah, but if you attack from the other side, that defense doesn't matter. So like positioning is important. Your energy is important because every block and every swing takes stamina. So there's kind of this Dark Souls energy management system to it. So like I said, it's a lot to think about. Like in the middle of combat, it moves really fast and there's so much to think about. I'm still trying to get my head around it, but so far I think I'm enjoying it. The mechanics, that is. I'm definitely enjoying the story. The one thing that has held me back and the one thing that I think this is actually a genuinely bad decision that is frustrating and I don't like it is the way the save system works. You cannot save anywhere. You can only save in your bed. So not just any bed. You can only save in your bed. So that means wherever I go, I then have to make sure that I go back home to save. There are also these drinks called, and I'm not kidding, save schnapps. That is a unique drink in the world that is a consumable, and it's a save anywhere potion. So if I hit pause, there's a save game option, but if I hit that, it will use a save schnapps. And at this point, I'm maybe like 7-8 hours into the game. I have 10 save schnapps. So I have 10 save anywhere potions. I want to conserve those like my life depends on it because it really does.
Yeah, it sounds like it's got the worst parts of Red Dead Redemption 2 in this game. And I said that before. The eating, the sleeping, didn't have food poisoning, but just the self-care, the maintenance, the brushing of the horse, the not being able to save, that stuff drives me nuts. But
I'm looking through the chat. Barbara asks, have I been able to find lockpicks? I think I found like one lockpick. One of the characters you meet early on is sort of a thief and a fence who will sort of train you in the dark arts of pickpocketing and lockpicking, and he'll give you a lockpick. Other than that, lockpicks are rare. Again, whereas this game, Skyrim is like, hey, you want something accessible, and this game's like, oh, fuck you. Lockpicking is hard. I hated lockpicking. I thought the minigame was bullshit until I met this fence who was training me, and he basically gives you a chest with a lock and an invincible lockpick and says, go to work and just train. And so I trained on that thing, and I kept picking that lock over and over and over again until the game refused to give me any more experience points for doing that. And that actually really, really helped. Like that actually gave me a sense of how the lockpicking worked. And actually got me accustomed to it, and also like got my skill in the game up enough that the game itself was less bullshit.
That's kind of a big deal because there's a handful of games that we played that have that lock picking in it, and sometimes it's like you get the hang of it. And other times you just couldn't get it, and it was just luck of the draw or just skip this. I mean, it was so frustrating sometimes trying to pick locks.
So in this game, it's so hard because you have to like hold a position on the right thumbstick and then rotate around with the left thumbstick. So like in this video, you'll see this little yellow dot appear, and you're basically holding a position with the right thumbstick, but then you have to rotate that. And so like it's a very awkward sense of like holding the thumbstick in a position and then rotating while trying to keep it in that position. And it's very awkward. But like I said, once you get the ability to try it out like over and over and over and over and over again without your lockpick breaking, that's really important. That will help you.
Okay, I got my usual 2 questions here.
Okay, yeah, I'm looking in the chat for any questions too.
Okay, first one being, is there different difficulty levels in this game?
Nope.
And so
Fuck
it's all
you. They don't care. This is the way the game is, and you're gonna enjoy it. Or you
all right. That's question number 1. And number 2, how long you think this game is in hours?
I got like maybe 5 hours in, and that's when the credits rolled. So it took me like 6 hours to get through like 3 story missions that were kind of the intro. When I looked at a walkthrough, there's like a good 30, 40 missions. So this is a Skyrim sized game. This is like a good 60 to 80, depending if you want to do side quests, 100-hour game.
Well, what did you mean by 5 hours and the credits rolled?
Like it took about 5 hours before it started showing the credits of like, 505 games. I think it was Deep Silver.
Oh, so
Deep Silver Games presents.
So the intro was
game
like
by
5
block.
hours.
Yeah, 5
That's how
hours before the
Assassin's-
game.
Okay.
Before
Yeah,
the game,
before the game's like
The game, yeah. Assassin's Creed was like that. You played for 2, 3, or 4 hours or whatever. I forget what it was, and then all of a sudden it's like, "Welcome to Assassin's Creed Odyssey," and it's like,
yeah,
"Holy
and it
cow!
puts up
I
the
just got all
title
this
card.
bonus time."
Yeah, and you're like, wait a minute, that
I
was
like
the
when it does
beginning?
that.
That was the prologue.
I like it when it does that. You right?
Yeah, and I will, Barbara. Like lockpicks are hard to find. Like, yeah, it's hard to be a thief. I spent a while last night doing a couple missions for a guy to make him a fence so that I can sell stolen items, because you can't sell stolen items in the city. And I learned that the hard way after stealing from a guy, then walking into the city, and immediately the gate guards were like, "Hey, whoa, hold up there. Let's check you." And then they saw I had stolen items on me, and they were like, "Okay, either pay the fine or bribe us or go to jail." So
what did you do? Fuck the police.
no, I fucked the police. I fought them. I died, and then I reloaded a save.
I got schnapps. I got shaver schnapps. You can't put me in jail.
Okay, there is one thing that bugs me, in that for as much as this game sort of is dedicated to the sense of realism, it's dedicated to realism to a point that is impossible. So I was trying to steal a ring from this woman's chest, and by chest I mean the trunk at her bed. I broke into her house, lockpicked the door, which was difficult. That is a challenge. I'm there trying to lockpick the chest, and something happens, and she wakes up, and I'm like, "Oh fuck, she caught me!" So I run away, and I'm out, and I'm like, "Okay, she's not chasing after me. I got away with this. It's fine. No one knows." I walk into the city, and immediately the guards are like, "Hey, you were caught stealing something. Either pay the fine or go to jail." I'm like, wait, how the fuck do you know that? Like, I literally ran from the woman's house that's outside the city to the city gates, and somehow the guards knew. Obviously they knew because I was caught, and so some flag turned on in the game that meant I was known a known thief. But that was one moment where like the realism of the game broke. So yeah, I'm enjoying it so far. I don't know. I feel like I still have yet to find a proper balance between doing side quests and doing main quests, because the main quests are great. The side quests they're the kind of thing that I will get stuck in a loop, going through over and over and over again, because I'll sleep and I'll save, and then I'll go try to do a quest and fail, and I'll reload the save, and I'll go try to do the quest and mess something up, and then I'll reload the save. Because, like, fuck your weird save system, I'm still gonna save scum the game like it's Skyrim, because I don't want to pay a fine every time I'm caught stealing, but I want to steal everything that's not nailed down. So, like, I am going to save scum and, like, break the game as much as I can until I become a master thief. Was that horse named Roach?
Yes.
Okay, that's kind of funny. But yeah, I do want to play more. I want to see more of the story, because the story and the writing and everything about that is absolutely fantastic. Like, it is really great. This is the kind of game that it's the mechanics might get in the way of the story, and I think if it was more accessible, it would be more popular and it would have more universal praise for the story that is so well written. But it is a game that purposely tries to push you away with the mechanics. It's the kind of game that says, this is what we are. We want to be a difficult, like, sim experience, and if you're not into that, then you can fuck off. Like, that's very much the sense of the game.
Is this a $60 game, or was it?
It was. I picked it up for like $10. No, I think $15 on Amazon, used. So, like, that, and that's why, like, I had heard good things about it, but because I didn't know about it, and it was such a big question mark, like, I'm not going to drop $60 on a question mark of a game. And I feel like I've absolutely gotten $15 worth out of it. But yeah, it's a game that you have to know going in has a very good storyline, but mechanics that will purposely try to push you away. And so it's a game that you have to meet on its own terms, and you have to kind of accept on its own terms. And I'm fine with games like that. So yeah, Kingdom Come Deliverance.
Okay, so you like it. Okay, $15 of pure joy.
Continue on. Continue on.
That's it.
I'm working on something else.
As much as I can about Kingdom Come as I can.
Continue on. I'm taking care of stuff. You guys need to take over the show.
All right. Do you got a video queued
Goalie?
up? Should I just
Just
talk about
keep going?
Okay.
Okay. So Goalie.
Yeah.
You played a game.
Yeah, I played a handful of things. I've actually been back more on the PlayStation 4 recently. Work's been very busy for me, and not all really fun either. So I found I haven't played a lot of my cards and dice stuff, like the Stratomatic Hockey or anything like that. I just so I like playing those games and relaxing, but sometimes you got to set them up. So I've been in this mode where I get out of work, I'm in a grumpy mood, I take a shower, sit on the couch, I just want to plop and play something mindless, and that's been Borderlands and Battlefield 3, Battlefield 2, Battlefront 2.
Oh, Battlefront
2, yeah. And I also started playing this new game that just came out called Grid, the racing game Grid. Okay, so a Grid, it was an older 360 game. I think there was Grid and Grid 2. And then there was another one that come out that I didn't pick up. It was like Grid Motorsport or Turo Sport. I don't know. There was another Grid to come out that I didn't get. Okay. But Grid is one of the few racing games that I can actually play and have a lot of fun with. Okay. So I played Grid and Grid 2 back on the 360. I think they're actually backwards compatible on the Xbox, so I can play them there too. And I liked it so much, I picked it up fairly cheap on Steam. So I can actually play Grid, the older Grid, on Steam and stream right here from the computer, and it looks really, really nice. It's an older game, but it still looks fantastic. I think it's Codemasters that makes the Grid game. Okay.
Yeah.
So I don't know what happened. I was on YouTube and someone says, here's a review of Grid. I'm like, well, that'd be really awkward reviewing a game that's, was on the 360, and they're like, nope, it's a new Grid 2019 that's coming out for the PS4, Xbox, and computer, and it's just called Grid, which is something Xbox would do because they already have a Grid.
It's the soft reboot of the racing game.
Yeah. So I picked wind after the show last week. Actually, I got wind of it, and so I was like, okay, so I'll pick it up, and I was like, I really like the Grid game, so I'm going to get this for PS4, and I'll do some streaming and the whole bit. So I looked, and they had two versions. They had one that come out on Friday, but the deluxe version that you could play on Wednesday. Well, this was Thursday morning. So yeah, here's me playing Grid. So this is one of my first races here. I'm in a Mini Cooper. I think I was in San Francisco here in this race here that you're watching right now.
Oh yeah, you're on the Embarcadero.
Yeah, I don't know if that's the I-80 or not.
No, that's Market Street right there.
No fire, you can tell.
Okay. So, but anyway, so the thing about Grid, why I really like Grid, is Grid has so many levels of difficulty and so many options in this game. Anybody can play it. Some of the hardcore racers don't like this game because it's not hardcore enough for them, but I find that I think there's 5 difficulty levels. You can have automatic transmission, manual transmission. You can, shift if you want. You can have braking help. You can have steering help. I have everything set to on to start, and as I get better, I start removing some of the helpers.
That's my ferry right there that I used to take every morning to go to work.
Yeah, so we drove right by you. But there's a whole. I think they said that there's like 70 or 80 different races that you can do, and you gotta start with the first one, and then go to the second one, and then go on down there. But it's the gameplay is really fun as far as playing this game. Oh, there's Thomas signing on. That's why there's a little block up there in the corner, by the way. That'll happen 37 more times while I'm playing Grid, by the way. Thomas signing on the PS4. But the game, when I first played it, so I picked it up on Thursday, and I was able to play it right away. When I first started playing, I didn't like it. I don't know, maybe I took a bad car or a bad race, but I was all over the place. And I was like, oh my gosh, I bought the deluxe version of this, and it sucks. And I'm like out of my mind, because you know how you spend all that money on a game, like, oh man, that sucks. Mm-hmm. But I went back to it the next day. I went back to it on Friday morning after work, and I was like, I started to had some fun with it, and I started streaming it, and I did another look at the game, and I got a little more involved in the game, and I found that I found a good car to race, and I started having fun, and it was Grid again. And then as I was streaming, a couple of buddies from the cards and dice community come in, and one of them, I think, is a gearhead, because he's like, oh, what options do you have? I'm interested in this game. So I went in and I was showing him, and you can change the braking from front to back. You can adjust the steering. There's a lot of things you can adjust, the springs and stuff. I don't know anything about that. And he's like, oh, put the spoiler down, put the springs up, put the braking here, put this, that. And so he's walking me through, like, there's 5 or 6 different things you can tweak on the car. And this is even on easy mode, by the way. This is easy mode. And I went back in. Holy smokes. The car handled so well. Really? Well. Yeah. And I don't know if you skip ahead to the end here in that video, Edie. I was playing some of the Formula One racing towards the end here. And what was really good, not only do you have different options for cars, see, there's all the racing things right there. So there's all these different things you can race in, and there's a lot of races that you can do. And you can do free race, and you can do multiplayer and the whole bit. But yeah, right there, right there. So I went to the F1, and so you can see the different camera views. Now look at this. This is my favorite view right here. You are in the cockpit racing this game. And this only works for F1, because otherwise you have, the roof and the windows and everything around you.
Yeah, you got too much stuff blocking you.
Yeah, too much block. But in Formula One racing, where it's basically a convertible, this view is so awesome. You can see everything. You feel like you're in the cockpit of a Formula One car. So I purposely did this for this video, and I was racing around the track. And this is the one that the guy helped me tweak some of the steering and some of the things here. But boy, I was just running on the track myself, I think, at this point here. But Grid, this game grew on me really fast. I had a really bad introduction to this game, but as I played more, and it only took a couple hours, and I really started to feel this game. A couple of issues I have, though, is with the menus. Holy cow. And at the very beginning, you don't have to show it here, but if anybody wants to watch this video, at the beginning, the menu system, you can bind all the controls, which are great, because I like to use X in for the gas, and I like to use circle for the brake. Well, they have it set to the triggers, but you can change that. But when you go into the menu, for some reason, you know how you scroll down a menu and it reverts to the top again? It doesn't do that.
I hate it when games don't do that.
And if for some reason, every time I go into the menu, it drops me into the middle of the menu. So if I scroll to the top, and if actually this is the video here, I might even show it here in the video here. So if Sierra says steer left at the top, if I go up, it shoots me to the middle, and I got to scroll all the way up to the top again. And if I go too, it is the nuttiest thing. This menu, and like I say, this at the beginning of the video, I talk about the menu, and there's Thomas signing on again, by the way. It's so bad. The menu is so bad. I can't stand the menu system. So you got to like go so slow, because if you go up, like say I go to left, if I go up one more, it would shoot me to the middle of the menu system. It is like, see what it did right there? It's like, what is that? Why did it shoot me all the way down? Now I got to scroll all the way back up till I get steering left. And if I go one up, it shoots me to the middle again. It is so annoying.
That sounds like it's a bug.
It must. Yeah. See how it shot me down again? It is.
That seems like it's particularly awful, because as you're scrolling up to try to get back, if you scroll too far, it'll just put you at the middle again.
Yeah. There it is. And so I scrolled all the way down, and I didn't get to the top again. It is like, oh my gosh. So you got to go all the way up and then go real slow. See how slow right down, and that's it. Now that's where I can play with it. No, I went too far and I went down to the middle again. So that was my first introduction to the game. So I was pissed off right there. And then when my car started floating, I was even more pissed. So that menu system is terrible. The other thing is, in my garage, if I go to my garage, I'm not sure where in the video it is, but if you go to your garage, there's no way to filter out what cars you have. You got to scroll through all these cars that you can potentially buy, and mixed in with all those other cars that you own. And it's like, no, I want to filter out what. Okay, here's my garage right here. So I think so. I bought this, and it's like, that's great, but I can buy this or I can rent this or whatever it is. But it's like, I want to know what cars I have, and sometimes you got to scroll all the way through the garage,
because I'll bet there's a ton of cars to buy.
There's a lot of cars to buy, and you got your Formula Ones, you got your touring cars, you got all. I mean, the cars are fantastic in this game, but holy cow, to go into the garage and just show me what I have. I don't want to see what I can buy, because I ended up taking this F1000 car. I bought this car so I could do the races, and then I customized it, and the customization's fun. It's not unbelievable, but it is fun. But to go and find this car in my quote garage, there needs to be a tab for cars owned. Instead, it's like you got your F series, you got your touring cars, you got your all these international cars, and they're all woven in there. And it's like, oh man, why are you making this so difficult for me? So the menus in Grid are driving me nuts. The game plays pretty well. There's tons of options, tons of ways to play, tons of difficulty. So no matter what kind of racer you are, you should find a mode in Grid to play and enjoy this game.
And Thomas is still signed on again.
Yeah, Thomas. I wasn't kidding about that. You think I was kidding? I was not kidding about that. So Grid 2019 for PS4. I think it's on the Xbox and also PC. I'm coming around. I had a bad initial night with it, probably because of the menus, as you saw it, and it was maddening. I can understand going to the bottom, but yeah, it just shoots you to the middle. It's like, what's up with that? It's kind of like, oh, do you want to play Battlefield 1? Here you go, Battlefield 1. No, I don't want Battlefield 1. Oh, you want to play Battlefield 1? He has Grid and Grid 2. Yes, they're fantastic racing games. I'm thinking about getting a controller for it, but then again, there's more wires and more things. So I just
you don't need a wheel controller for that.
No, not for Grid. Not for Grid. You don't. So I'm just going to play it on the couch with the controller. So Grid 2019. Yes, after a tough beginning and crappy menus, I am enjoying Grid so much right now. So Grid 2019, yeah, good stuff. Also playing back to more Star Wars Battlefront 2, okay, because of that co-op mode that I talked about last week, that you can now play the main kind of, I don't know if it's a conquest game or what it's called, but with people against the AI. So you're not going to get sniped by, by regular people. It's all AI, and the AI is usually not nearly as good as the humans are. So someone like me who's over the hill when it comes to playing these shooter games, I'm having fun playing with people against the AI. And so it really opened this game back up for me because I like the Battlefront games. I do, but I would always finish last. And you don't get finished last so many times and you're sick of it. And I think the last time I played with a friend of mine in Philadelphia. And somebody in the other team was who's the big Dark Lord? Not Vader. Who's the other guy?
Palpatine?
Yeah. He had a maxed out Palpatine, and he just walked through the game and just killed everybody in sight. You couldn't fight him. And that was the last time I ever played multiplayer. I was like, no, you can't do it. Because again, how do you level up? If you just keep getting killed, it's going to take me 100 times to just being pigs for the slaughter before I can level up and get anything. So it ain't worth it. But here I'm playing here, and I'm with human people, and you can spawn on your squad, which is kind of fun. And I suppose if you guys jumped on, we could get in the same squad and play together. And that's when it would really get fun. But you're not playing other people. You're playing the AI. And I prefer P versus E, as you guys know that. And so Star Wars Battlefront 2, I don't know why they added this mode. I wish they had it at the beginning. Why did they wait 2 years to put this in? But I am really going. I like games like this. I just don't like playing against other people. And I know I'm in the vast minority, but there's a lot of people playing this game, and I'm having fun getting back into Star Wars, the Battlefront.
Well, I think they were
really
hoping
been
that
2
this.
years?
I think it's been a couple of years. Yeah.
I think they were kind of hoping that this game would turn into esports, and that's why they focused on competitive as opposed to cooperative. And I think that's a general thing within the industry. Mm-hmm. Cooperative gameplay is not where the money is.
No, it's not. And I get that.
I think they also, I think EA planned to put out, I think they, sorry. I think by this point, EA had planned originally to have a Battlefront 3, but because of the reception to Battlefront 2, they kind of canceled that. And so instead, what they ended up doing was just GameCat. Instead, what they ended up doing is sticking with this game and updating it and actually putting in a bunch of features that people wanted. So I think if the reception of it hadn't been as poor as it was, you wouldn't have gotten this mode because DICE would have moved on to Battlefront 3.
Right. Mm-hmm. And this is something where I'm enjoying this so much. If they had said this is a $5 upgrade, I would have bought it. I wouldn't have spent much more than that, but it was free. But I mean, if they said, hey, you can play, I'd like to play the space battle like this, where you could play against P versus E, but I don't think they have that yet. There's a way you can try to play space on your own, offline, but I couldn't figure it out for the life of me. And otherwise you go and you play versus other people. And again, I'm just not that good. So I prefer to play this way. So, if they had said, hey, for $19.99, you can play every single mode in this game, P versus E, I'd probably do it because that's what I enjoy playing. But you're right. That is the minority. That's not where they make their money. People want to play head to head. I particularly don't, but a lot of people do. But the fun part about this for me is I can now, I'll play and I'll do pretty well against the computer, and it'll say, hey, you've racked up 3,000 points. Now you can play as Chewbacca or you can play as Yoda. So I'm finally unlocking the special characters, which I never did in multiplayer. Never, ever did I ever unlock a special guy or a special, sometimes you can get into a transport and just sit there and pick people off, and that's fun too. So I'm having fun in Star Wars Battlefront 2, which I did in the very beginning, but then as everyone got on and I became terrible, I stopped having fun. So Star Wars Battlefront 2, so that's I've been playing as well. And the last thing, of course, is Borderlands 3, and me and Edie have been playing a lot of Edie and I have been playing a lot of that, and we are having so much fun with that. It's good to play with the GameHounds again. We haven't done that since the 360 days or the early PS4 days. So we finally found a co-op game, and I gotta say, I gotta admit that she's a lot better than I am at this game. She really is.
Thank you.
We get these big battles, and I'll be running back finding ammo and health, and she's sitting there blowing everybody up. She goes, "I think we're almost done," and I'm behind a rock going, "Yep, yep, we did it." Oh, here's the big jump. Oh, she loves putting
I
me in these.
contributed.
Here comes the jump. So I got to go down this big hole. Yeah. And right there, yeah, my ball's going in my throat right about now. Oh, I can't stand these jumps. Oh. So there's a lot of things like that. So then we fight the big glowing orbs here, but enjoying this game massively. Still not enjoying it as much as Battlefront 2. This Borderlands 2. There's some things in this game I really like, but Borderlands 2, you know what I miss about that is in Borderlands 2, I would use the elementals a lot more. Like when I went into the robot factory, I would always take out my corrosion and use it on the robots, and you can hit them and you can see that their numbers dwindling down. And I like that. And if you fought like the crazy people, you used your flame or your whatever your fire gun, and it would hit them and their flesh would burn. And so I found the elementals come into play quite a bit in Borderlands 2. In this game, I'm not using elementals at all.
Oh, I use elemental weapons all the time.
Maybe I might use shock on a shield.
Electricity is awesome. That's one of the reasons why I can clear stuff out so easily, is because electricity chains to everybody in the everybody nearby.
That's about the only thing. Yeah, the electricity. But yeah. I missed, like I say, sniping the robots with my corrosive, and I miss sniping the guys with my my flaming sniper gun. And I'm not doing that in this one. It's just once in a while I'll take out the electricity and try to take out a shield, which does a nice job with a shield, but I'm just how I'm playing it this time around. I'm really not using the elementals, and I miss that. I miss carrying two different snipers or two different pistols and that do different things. And I just found that maybe it's just me, but I just found that it had more impact in 2 than it did in 3.
It's just you.
Have you found any good guns? Because remember last week you said that you hadn't actually found any interesting, cool
I did,
guns.
yeah. I found some legendaries, and that's one of the things we'll talk about in the news. That they did have more legendary drops, so I finally started picking up some legendaries. Some are pretty cool, and some are just okay. Nothing unbelievable, but there was definitely some good. I finally have some legendaries. I should say that I finally got some legendary stuff. And I found, too, that you could put trinkets on your guns. I didn't know what the heck that was. I found that by mistake where I went into the slot next to the gun and go, what is this?
And you can put skins on your guns. So that's not real obvious. To put trinkets on your guns, you tab over in your inventory over to the left and then hit enter, and it will allow you to put, they're like little dongles.
Like keychains. They're like
little keychains. Yeah, on your guns.
And you can see them swinging around on the gun. And
then you can also have skins on your guns, which some of them are kind of cool. I particularly like the rainbows and unicorn skin. And you do that by when you're in your inventory, you focus on a gun, and I believe it's R3. I think it's R3, but you click, it's one of the thumbsticks. You click down and it will take you into your gun, the details. And that's where you can actually see what are the different aspects of it that compose that particular gun. And you can see why it's literally billions of possibilities. But in there is a command to change the skin, and you can actually customize your gun, at least the way that it looks. The third thing that's not real obvious, that is one of those things that you can acquire, is emotes. And it was I looked everywhere of how to use a freaking emote, couldn't find it anywhere in the menus or anything. And it was finally Creation Chaos that told me you have to hold down the options button. The least intuitive thing I've ever seen. But if you hold the options button, then you can use the emotes. Just in case you can.
Yeah, no, I haven't used that. I wouldn't think to hold down anything in that game, So more of that. Again, if you're on PS4, come join us and play. We're having some fun. I really am. We were playing with the wife the other night. I had Mrs. Goalie on. We played.
I was playing last night with a Sundowner, who's one of our listeners.
Yep.
And I was playing, I'm in the end game on one of my characters, and I was playing the Pillars of Destruction. There's end game stuff where it's essentially waves that you go into. And those things are no joke. Oh my God. They're really fucking hard. And but they're super fun. It's just you have to clear 5 different stages, and each stage has 5 waves, and each stage is progressively more difficult. And
Ugh.
man, it is panda freaking monium.
Is there
That
an
game
end
does
or
it.
is it endless?
There is an endless mode. That wasn't what this is. This is actually you get
Okay.
XP for this. It's part of the game. It's actually part of the end game of this game, and it's
We got in something the other night.
crazy. But
we
you
were-
get amazing guns.
We were getting ready to sign off the other night, and I don't know what happened. We just happened to run in this
That's
one
what it is.
area.
Circle of Slaughter. Thank you,
Oh,
Corey
yeah.
Wallace. They're called a Circle of
Nice.
Slaughter. They're crazy.
I'll have to check that out when I get to that point. But we were just ready to sign off the other night, and we went into this area, and there's all these badass sloggers or something come out. Holy cow! It was another 20 minutes just to close out of that. We did.
Yeah.
It was just like, okay, let's
If
sign
you
off.
like
Okay.
that, you're gonna love Circles of Slaughter.
I think, don't they have a couple of different modes in the game, like horde modes in this game? Yeah, I haven't.
That's
done
what
any
a
of those
Circle
yet.
of Slaughter is.
Okay.
Well,
okay.
you don't play horde mode. It's more like a beast mode.
I'll have to check that out.
Sorry, you're right. Hard mode, not beast mode. Never mind.
Okay, yeah,
Ignore me.
that's okay. And the only other thing I played, I sent the video over to you on if you want to check it. I played this. I think I talked about the yard work game. I need to do some more DLC on that. I got to get the yard work game going again because it's that time. But I bought a whole bunch of I bought a bunch of upgrades to my my yard work game, and I'm trying them all out now. So yeah, here's the yard work game.
It's full of microtransactions.
It is. So I can see I got my new blower, I got my new leaf cruncher, I got the dog.
Wait, is
And,
this your backyard?
Yes,
That
it
is.
was. That was
wa-
Goalie's backyard.
Jesus
Yep.
fucking Christ, Goalie.
It looks bigger than it is.
Look at the. That's fucking huge. That's like
It
the
is ju-
size of 2 of my apartments. That's God. That's a fucking park. That's what that is.
Now you know why he's constantly bitching about the.
In the city, that's a park. I can go to San Jose and like that is the green around the college campus.
and Edie snowblowed that
Fuck.
backyard.
Yes, I
the
did.
last time she was out there. Because we get 3-4 feet of snow out there, and you can see the size of my dogs. I'll dig up a video for next week. I think I got a video of her snow blowing because we have to do pass. No joke. We make NASCAR pass. We do one big circle around the yard and then one through the middle, and they run the track because it's 3 or 4 feet high, and they can't go out to do any peas or poops because it is so high. You got a dog that's a foot high, and you get 2 feet of snow. He ain't doing nothing. So yeah. So we
Man, I did not know
so-
you had such a massive yard.
it's decent size.
You've been to his house,
have-
haven't you?
No, he's never been
no,
here.
no.
Oh,
We were gonna one night from Kowloon, and we decided not to.
that's right.
I dream of one day having a yard that the dogs could run around in.
Me
Yeah,
too.
the
That
only
is the
thing was
dream. That is the
putting in-
California dream.
Yeah, the only thing is that the fence is to put in a fence to cover that yard. Forget it. Thousands of dollars for a fence. It was, and we didn't even fence the whole thing because the back was already fenced. We just did one side, but the fence in like 100 feet or whatever it was. Oh, yeah, that was fun. But yeah, that's the yard work game. I took out the iPad, I put it on the time lapse mode, just trying it out. It actually come out all right. I got to figure out a better setting for that. I don't know what setting to use, but it was I just wanted to see if it would work, and you could see me clearing the yard out. So yeah, the yard work game. I'll do it again with snow. I'll set it up and do a snow clearing game.
So, anything else before we hit the news?
No.
What,
All right.
what have you been playing? We didn't talk about what you're playing.
Oh wait, that's right. We didn't.
Borderlands.
Oh,
Oh.
And I
That's it?
talked about Circle of Slaughter. Yeah, that's all I've been playing.
Hmm.
So, yeah, anything before we talk about the news, gentlemen?
that's
No?
about it.
Okay,
This-
let's hit the news. This is the GameHounds news, the news, views, and commentary of the week in gaming with Gamer Edie, Holy Goalie, Nick Nick DiNicola.
Mhm.
First item
Oh,
is.
you want me to start? Okay. Valve actually updated Steam with something called a new app type, a music app type. And they put this out on a tweet. This is actually from Steam database, not Valve officially. But what the Steam database has said is that they've added a music app type. And what that means is you'll be able to buy soundtracks for games without owning the base game. Because a lot of times now, if you buy the game, you can get the soundtrack has like a free piece of DLC.
Right.
But like that soundtrack is always put into the Windows Explorer folder of the game that you then have to go get. So like what this would do is this would allow you to actually get the soundtrack through Steam. So
so it's
that's
not. It
pretty.
doesn't add an app. It adds
Well, it's an app
music.
type. It's a new type of thing to download because they have games, they have software, they have movies, and so now I think they'll have music, which will allow you to buy soundtracks. So on one hand, that's really cool. On the other hand, it's just more things for Steam glut.
Yeah.
But I think that's a cool addition because there's a lot of soundtracks that are really good.
Yeah.
And it'd be nice to be able to buy them without having to have the main game.
Yeah, there is that because so many times I have gotten a game and the soundtrack is like an added DLC or added feature because I ordered, for an extra 99 cents, I got the soundtrack. And I've never used the soundtrack before. And there's been several times when I would have loved to have had the soundtrack for something. There's no way I was going to buy the game just to get the soundtrack. So.
I put the Snowblow link in private chat. I don't know if you can get at it or not.
Nope.
No? All right, I'll do it. I'll send an email.
So the
next item.
Next one I have. This is just another Twitter piece of Twitter news. Riot announced that League of Legends is coming to mobile and consoles. That's kind of the extent of the tweet. But that's a big deal.
Oh yeah, and I'm really surprised it's taken this long.
So am I.
Because it's not like this wasn't a huge game. I'm just also wondering how it may change because League of Legends is kind of known as a toxic culture. And I'm wondering if that may have been part of it. Is that when you're a game on PC, it's Dodge City. Anybody can do anything. There's no overlord that is controlling the method of you getting to people. I mean, maybe Steam, but it was a big enough game that Steam wouldn't be involved, or Valve wouldn't be involved in controlling the culture. When you have an horrifically toxic game a game with a horrifically toxic culture like League of Legends, I'm wondering if that's what kept them off iOS and off of consoles, because now you have an overlord that is controlling access to your players and can exert influence on
maybe the
developer.
consoles. I feel like they haven't gone to iOS because my old roommate played a lot of League, and so I got to watch him play and to see how he used the mouse and keyboards. There's a lot going on in that game at any given moment. It'd be really tough to actually translate that into a mobile game. So I don't know how they're going to do it. I think
it's not the exclusive reason, but if there is a really as horrible as that whole community, well, not the whole community, a lot of that community is, I could see Apple taking umbrage to it. Apple is super sensitive to that kind of stuff. Super sensitive, way more than Google.
Does Apple even have voice chat? I don't play multiplayer
Never been on it.
games
Don't
on
want to
iOS.
go near it.
I have no idea if if any of those games actually have a voice chat.
I can't imagine it wouldn't, but even so, not interested at all.
Hmm.
Mm-mm. No, I'm way too old and way too wise to even remotely think that I might enjoy that.
Hmm.
And it's not the game. It's everything around the game that the developer is essentially cultivated.
Yeah.
It wants that. It wants that culture.
I mean, there's plenty.
That's why they're not on console.
There's been a lot of talk about the culture of League and the sexual harassment suits that they've totally fostered that sort of culture.
Yeah.
Speaking of Apple, remember I told you the issues I had with my phone battery last week?
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So they had the update, and I went for a walk with a dog and get down the street, and basically the battery was almost dead. So somebody posted on Twitter and had Apple support on whatever, and I wrote back, I was like, "Yep, my battery's been crap too." And Apple support actually contacted me on Twitter, and we've been going back and forth, and they're like, "Try this, try that." So at least they care a little bit, But it sounds like that most people said update all the apps. Like every day is like 5 more apps updated. So I guess the old apps were draining the battery maybe, but so I updated all the apps several times. I shut down a lot of notifications, which I had on before, and it seems a lot better. So, but it just sucks that I had to do something because I was going along and everything was fine.
Oh, I'm sorry. I'm sorry,
But,
baby.
I thought
something?
apps updated
but
automatically.
phone-
Like, why would you have to update each one
I don't know.
individually?
But
That's
if you have a phone and it's working and you like how it's working, and then they change something and now that phone becomes useless, and just turn off all the notifications and turn off this and turn off that. Well, what if I like all that on? I'm used to that being on. Why do I have to shut it all off because you changed something?
Yeah, I'm on Goalie side. This is like them purposely fucking over the phone to make it old so that you're forced to buy a new one.
You mean the company that added the lightning cable instead, or the new lightning cable and got rid of the headphone jack?
Yeah. That's why I don't want to get a new phone. I like my headphone jack.
I'm not. Yeah, this when my iPhone 6 dies, I am going Android.
I might have to, unless they put the headphone jack in, because I don't want to be buying. I have the SE. I like the SE. It works for me. It's nice and small. It flies. It's good. Yeah, but now with the batteries. But I did take a walk the other day with a dog, and it went from 100 to 68 rather than 100 to 28.
Still.
So, but I mean, I got the app running to map the walk, and I got music playing or something playing in the background, and I'm texting people.
Still.
Yeah, it's still not where it was because I made a lot of changes, but it's better. So anyway, see, news from me. Let's see. Did we talk about? Let's see. How about the PS4 Big Scary Sale, Edie? I sent you a link. Yeah. So I'm looking at comicbook.com actually. Is where I found this, and there was a Twitter link. It's a new PlayStation Store Halloween sale discounts PS4's scariest games, and there's a whole list here of these games. If Edie pulls up the link, we can go over that.
Goalie, just go. Trust me. I'm not. Just talk. I've got it.
Wow,
I've got it.
That's what my wife says right before we got in a car accident. Don't tell me how to drive. I've been driving. How many years you been driving? Anyway, so going down the list, there's a couple of note here. Alien Isolation, $12, Nick. Did you like Alien Isolation?
I did. I have
it. It's okay. I never finished. I was like, the hell with that. Boy, well, here's one that's interesting. Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition's only $8. Blood Bowl. For $8, I might try it. I think.
Is that like the Mutant League football?
No. Oh, no. This is more of a chess game than it is anything else. Yeah, Blood Bowl 2 is like a RTS football game. Whereas you figure out what you want to do and your guy does the moves. It's not a football game. Yeah, and here's that list, that we're talking about right here. So, so Blood Bowl 2 Legendary Edition, $8. Bound by Flame. For $4.
Don't
I
get
already
that. That was an RPG that I reviewed a long time ago.
I have that
It's
somewhere. Yeah, I've already
perfectly
played that one. That one's okay.
mediocre.
You got the Darksiders too. Those are always kind of fun. $6 and $4. Dark Souls 3 and Dark Souls 2 are on the list. Let's see. What
They
else?
have all the Dead Island games, but no Dying Light, which is criminal.
Oh, you know what? What I'm looking at is the BioShock collection at the top of the BioShock collection was $15. I have that for the Xbox, but I'm really upset with the Xbox right now. So I might pick this up. I've never played through the BioShock. I shouldn't say I played through the one in the sky. That's the one I played, but I never
Infinite.
played. Yeah, I didn't play 1 or 2.
Oh.
So I was thinking about, but I have those for the computer and I have them for the Xbox. But, if I played them, but you can't stream on the Xbox. So if I got it for PS4, then I could stream BioShock the collection. You're right. Dead Island is on this list as well. Dead Rising, anything dead you can imagine is on there. Devil May Cry 5, $30. I should have liked that. That's the 2019 game. I should have liked Devil May Cry, but I didn't. I don't know why. I just did not like Devil May Cry. Doom's only $10. If you wanted to play Doom, that's not a bad deal. Fallout 4,
the newer Doom.
Yeah, Fallout 4, $12. I think that's the one I have. That's the one that was in Boston, right? Fallout
I'm
4?
excited for the Dark Pictures Man of Medan, because that's the new game from the people that made Until Dawn.
Not aware of that. Outlast, some scary games, $5 and $7. Oh man, those are tough to play. It was too dark. I didn't like it. It was just too dark. Prey, $15. That's an interesting one. Save 50% on Prey.
Yeah, Prey was okay.
Rage 2 is $30. That's half off. I don't think I got Rage 2.
I forgot about Rage 2. I forgot that came out this year.
That's a decent deal though. Half off.
Rage 2?
Yeah, that's fairly new. It's either this year or last year.
No, it was this year. It was just a couple months ago. It was in the summer.
Oh wow! And it's on sale for how much?
$30.
It was announced at E3, right?
Wow.
Wasn't I thought it got an? It was.
I'm drawing a blank on it. I'm sorry.
It's fairly new.
There was an E3 leak that mentioned Rage 2, and everyone thought it was fake because it was Rage 2, and who would make a Rage 2?
Yeah.
Well, you got some Tomb Raiders on here too that are fairly cheap. Really cheap. $9 and $6. We Happy Few, $30. Did anybody play that? Did either of you play that?
I didn't. I wanted to, but I just never got to it. It's one of those games. I don't know why I didn't get to it.
I just heard it had a really good video announcement, but I had heard that the main game was nothing like what they showed, and it just wasn't fun.
It got a little bit of bad press right before it started, and was like, it seems a bit overpriced at $30 this far after, because it was released more than a year ago.
Wasn't that the game that come out and it looked really good, and then when they completely changed what the game was, and it was just, it was like, right. Not interested.
Right.
I think that's what that was. Yeah. Hey, Edie, that game you played that I want to check out, Vampire, $15.
Vampire, yeah, $15. I think is a little expensive for it.
It's really? 75% off.
It's
I think that 75% off
I feel like that's
that number is more of an evidence of I think that number is evidence of how overpriced it is regularly.
Is that one of those things? It's like it's a $50 value.
I think 15 is right about where it should be.
Really?
It's a $15 game.
Wolfenstein 2, the new Colossus. I don't think I played that. That's $20.
That is fun.
Yeah,
those Wolfenstein games are just good fun.
I'd have to double check to see what the used one goes for.
That game goes to some absurd places. Like the story and the things that happen will just have you going like, "What the fuck?" That game's great. I love that game.
So this is a decent sale for some of these things here that I might have to go check out. So thanks to comicbook.com for putting that on it. So I'm gonna have to go check out the sale. I'm not sure when it goes to. It didn't say, but it's a Halloween sale.
I was actually looking at this last night. It goes until November 1st.
Oh, good. So through Halloween. That's good.
Yeah.
That's good.
All right. So Any other items?
Google finally announced when they will be releasing Stadia. And it will be coming on November 19th. So almost exactly 1 month from here. That is when the Founders Edition will start, when it should start arriving at people's doorsteps. So, if you pre-ordered it, you should be able to start playing and start streaming on November 19th.
Gotta say, I'm very tempted. If I had more money right now, I probably would do it.
Oh, I thought you got the Founders one.
How much is it?
I did not.
It was like
Founders Pack is $130.
130.
It includes a limited edition controller, Chromecast Ultra, and a 3-month subscription to Stadia Pro, early access to a Stadia name, and a 3-month buddy pass of Stadia Pro for a friend.
What the hell is this Stadia?
Stadia is a cloud streaming service.
Google.
Nick and I played it at PAX, and we played, what was it, Street Fighter?
Mortal Kombat.
Mortal Kombat on a phone. It's depending on which flavor you get, it may very well be an all-you-can-eat playing, and it's pretty freaking cool. You'll never have to worry about downloading a game. You will never have to worry about updating a game.
Borderlands 3 is on this list. Assassin's Creed Odyssey's on this list. Destroy All Humans. I mean, am I wrong here? Is that Grid? You can play all these, or do you got to buy them?
You have to buy them.
Oh, okay.
Yeah,
So it's $129 for what, the service or something?
The Pro, yeah. There's the Stadia Pro. I believe.
Well,
allows
basically,
you to
you're
do
getting
all you can stream, all you can eat.
Chromecast
I
device.
believe.
What happened here? Oh. Yeah, something happened here. I'm not sure what's going on. So I was just looking at what the Stadia was. So obviously California had another earthquake. So please stand by. Hopefully they can come back into the show. So what a good time to cut it off, though, right when Nick was talking. So I'm pretty happy about that. So if I'm still going here, I'm going to plug along. I'm going to keep the show going.
Hello.
I don't know what happened to you guys, but we're still here. We're still here.
We're here. Edie, there's a fire up there.
Something happened. Another
There
explosion.
was an earthquake. Yeah, another explosion.
Something silly. So I was just looking at the Stadia there. So
she's
it's
calling
basically
through
she's
Skype.
calling now.
Hello.
Hey.
Hi.
So it looks like StreamYard may have died or something happened.
We're still
going.
in it.
You're still in it?
Yeah, me and Goalie.
Okay, my connection to StreamYard died. All right.
Okay, yeah, you should be able to just join back in. You're on the show now. Say hi, Edie.
Hey.
Don't worry, it's all under control. She told me that 5 minutes ago.
I know how to stream a podcast.
It's funny. This is good to know, though, that the room will stay open even if the host bails out.
Yes, yeah, that is good to know. It's not like Skype or everything.
Yeah, well, we're gonna die here. So, although I don't know about Spreaker, though, I don't know what's going on in Spreaker, but at least on YouTube, as long as one of us stays on. So I was the one over here. I took one for the team, Nick. I took one for the team, and so we're back on the show. And you jumped right back in. You didn't even have to get approved, so that was good. And now you froze up again. So things are not going well here at GameHounds Central, but we're going to plug along. So I just looked at the Stadia. So if you got to buy the games and stream them, geez, I don't know, man. I think I'd rather just have them on the console. Streaming, boy, you are at the mercy of the internet at that point.